Nehemiah chapter 4. So if you find a way there, you would join me and we'll take a look at the first section of that chapter. One thing that I've done over the past few Sundays, at the beginning of the week or at the beginning of the series, you know where I want to go. The challenge is oftentimes the sermon titles. And so I try to get my sermon title to office by Thursday the latest so that the bulletins can be printed. And I would kind of box myself in with that. And while I'm preparing or writing or finalizing, something else would come up. And so I want to change the title this morning from the battle for your mind to mind the mission. Okay? Mind the mission. We'll talk more on why that is in just a moment. Nehemiah, as we've seen so far, is a tremendous leader. Not because he went to the best leadership school, not because he had a doctoral degree in leadership. He is not John Maxwell, who's written tons of books on leadership, but God is using this man with his abilities, natural abilities, and the things that he can, and even God will work through the things that he can't do, and we're watching that as it develops. For any leader to move, there must be a vision. Okay? And as I said before, a vision is jumping into the future, seeing a reality, backtracking your way to the present, and planning or creating your pathway towards that. Okay? So for a college student, for example, their vision is to graduate. So whether it's a 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, 12-year degree, their goal is to finish that. And so their task to get there is to make sure that they take the right courses, to make sure that they do the right work, and so that they are continuing in that path to achieve their vision. This is what we do as an organization. This is what we are, even for our personal vision. And in fact, I wrote in this past week's article, I was going through some of our boxes, as we still have probably a good amount of stuff still in boxes. And I was going through some of our office boxes, and I pulled out a framed Who's Who article that I wrote back, I believe in 06, 07. And as I'm looking at it, because I keep it, but I don't really pay attention to it, but I look at it, and as I'm reading through it, I see something like, oh, that was me even then. The phrase that was stuck out for me is, as I was being the question, or who's Ricardo? How do we get to know him? What is Ricardo's dream or desire? And so my answer to the dream and desire was, I have an intense desire to see people fall in love with Jesus. Now, I'm not saying that for you. It reminded me of my own personal mission. No. Well, I didn't have the personal mission mind for it. I didn't have the wording for it, but that was my personal mission. In fact, I can trace that back to when I was 8. Where after the age of 6, I received Christ, and around 8, I loved Sunday school, I loved going to church, but every so often I would gather my friends around in the backyard of my house, and we would have church. And of course, I would be the preacher. All right. All right? And so this has been an innate or a God push and ability for me that God has placed in my life. And while I've kind of tried to run away from it because I wanted to be an engineer, I wanted to have money, I wanted to have all those things. And God allowed me to pursue engineering. God allowed me to pursue network administration. God allowed me to do all that. But those things, while they gave money, they didn't give satisfaction. All right? And so the goal is for any leader to realize their vision, the vision that God has given them. You must anticipate and make preparation for obstacles. Let me say it again. For any leader to realize their vision or the direction or God-given direction, that they must anticipate, make room for, prepare for challenges. In fact, I'll say it this way. The greater the vision, the greater the challenge. The greater things that God wants you to accomplish, that he wants to accomplish through you, the greater you must anticipate and expect. The enemy will come with the bigger battles coming at you, coming for you. And so we must understand that, because here Nehemiah has faced obstacles from the very beginning. It wasn't Nehemiah showed up to Jerusalem and started facing obstacles. There are obstacles along the way through this process, but he showed up in chapter 2. He's introduced to this constant thorn in the flesh by the name of Sanballat. Sanballat didn't come alone. Right? He came with his buddies. He came with Tobiah. He came with his friends who really continuing to build this army, or to build this force, to build this attack against the men of God doing the work of God. Sometimes the challenges that we face, we will recognize them. Sometimes when the enemy comes, before he show up to our door, we see him a mile away. We can anticipate, we can see that he's coming. All right, so I need to brace myself. I see you coming. I know what you're coming for. I can embrace myself. There are times they come and they come out of left field. You didn't plan for it, you didn't prepare for it, and it just hit you, and you're trying to figure out, how do I get up from this? Expect challenges. Expect the enemy to come and really throw the wrench into the work that you are doing, whether it is a personal work or a godly work. The way that the enemy comes, he doesn't come the same way every time. I wish he came one time and just started cursing me out. Then I'm like, okay, he's going to come back and he's going to start cursing me out. He's going to come the next day and start cursing me out. But he doesn't do that because he's testing how I respond. Right? If I say no, if I don't respond, and if that button's that push when he curses me out, he's going to come back and say, okay, that didn't work. I got to figure out another way so that I can hit him, because I want some reaction. I want some response, because the second that you react, it's like, I got it. The enemy, he has a playbook. To be honest, the playbook is not that different. We've seen it over and over again, but the way that he sometimes tweaks it for us, we are shocked. I can't believe that the enemy would come this way. But really, when you think about it, the enemy is not after your house. He doesn't care how big your house is, how nice it is, or what neighborhood it is in. The enemy doesn't care about your house. The enemy doesn't care about your car. So if you start driving your car, it's not starting. Trust me, it is likely that the enemy trying to get your car. I don't care how nice it is. The enemy is not after your money. He doesn't care how much money you make. He doesn't care what education level you have. He is not after any of that. What the enemy is after is, if he can get it, he'll win. The enemy is after your mind. If he can get your mind, he can get anything he wants. If he can get you to turn your focus from Jesus Christ to anything else, he gets you busy, he gets you thinking, he gets you working, and you are no longer focusing on the things that really matter, and Jesus Christ is far from you, because you're fighting a battle that the enemy has set up so that you can be distracted. But I love what the scripture does, because God is so creative. God is so providential. God is so amazing. He anticipates for us when we don't anticipate for ourselves. In Isaiah 26:3 says, he will keep you in perfect peace if your mind is steadfast on him. If I stay focused on him, he will give me perfect peace. Now, perfect peace, in our understanding, we think that nothing is going to go wrong. But even in the perfect peace is in the midst of everything falling apart, every enemy's coming at me every which way. It is the peace of God that passes the understanding of me, trying to explain the chaos. I am at peace. I love the way that the Message version puts it. It says, people with their mindset on you, you keep them completely whole. You steady their feet because they keep at it and don't quit. Depend on God and keep at it. Because in the Lord God, you have a sure thing. Oh man, I love that sure thing. It is an assurance. It is a guarantee. And as long as I stay focused on God, as long as I do what God tells me to do, as long as I'm moving in the direction that God tells me to move, I have a sure thing. Our mind, when we focus our mind on God, our sure thing continues to show up. How often do you think about God? Versus how often do you think about your problems? How often do you bring to God your complaints about your issues, your sickness, your whatever world is going on in? How often do you think about those things and not God? I thought about that this morning. I have a bunch of product that was sent to me. A friend of mine works for Uniden, who kind of the Colgate Axle, that company. She's one of the developers there. And about a year and a half or so ago, she sent me a box of just great product. What I realized this morning is as I take the bath gel and I'm washing myself, guess what? I thought about her. In grateful gratitude, and I prayed for her because she just had a baby, but I thought about her because it is in connection with something that she gave me. How often do we think about God? Outside of Sunday morning, where we are in that morning Sunday God moment, or we're in that Sunday God time, where we try to think about God because the preacher, the pastor, the message, the songs tell us to think about God. What happens when you are showing up to work and the enemy's waiting for you at the door? Jesus. What happens when they are plotting against you and trying to get you fired? What happens when they are coming at you? Do you think about God? Your mind is what he's after. And so when Sibal heard, as we find in verse 2, that the work continues. So his desire is not to destroy the wall. Let's get that out of the way. His desire is not simply to destroy the wall. He's not trying to get an army and say, hey, let's take that little building and we'll take it down. His desire is that he is frustrated. Because everything he has done so far hasn't worked. And in fact, what he heard was the work is going on and it's progressing really nicely. The walls are being put together. The gates have been put in place. The priests are working. The families are tied in. There's a commitment from the people and the work is going well. And the enemy is frustrated. The enemy is frustrated not because the people, the Jews, were going out taunting them. They weren't frustrated because the Jews were throwing it in their faces. They were simply frustrated because the Jews were doing good. People will dislike you because you're doing good.
All right now.
Oh, they will dislike you because you changed your hairstyle. They will dislike you because you don't hang out with them anymore. They will dislike you because you are seeking to grow. They will dislike you because there is a greater vision in on your track and you're pursuing that. They will hate you because you said, I have a mission and a vision. I will not allow anything or anyone to get in the way of that. But how often do we give up our mission so that we can keep those people happy? So that we can satisfy them, so that we can really make them happy and keep them on our side. Would you look at somebody and say, mind the mission? If we stay focused on the mission, doesn't matter what comes, as they come, if we stay focused on the mission, we could go and even through the attacks, not only will we see their completed work, We will see what Nehemiah already told them. Listen, you will see this wall, but this is not for you. You will not be able to. With every work of God, we must expect that the enemy will not be too far behind. With every work of God. In fact, someone said it this way, I think I may have said it here already, is that if you're working for God and you are moving forward and you turn around, if you don't see the enemy, you just move it. Because he won't be too far behind you. Whatever good work you are doing for God, whatever work that you are engaged in, trust that he's going to come after you with everything he's got. But the way he comes, again, may not be as you expect. Here, when Sanballat comes with his friends, he gathered his buddies together, and he brought them together not so that he can prove really anything against them. He's trying to build himself up by trying to destroy the people of Jerusalem. You know people like that? All they care about is destroying you so that they can look better. He's there. The wall that is being built is not a direct attack on Sanballat. He's a governor. The reason, one of the reasons that Sanballat is upset is that he's losing control. As long as we can control you, you're good. You're good. We'll promote you. We'll cheer you on. But he comes to the people of God, the people working on the wall, and he starts this what we call psychological warfare. How does psychological warfare work? The enemy is not going to come and say, hey, you worshiping at 10? You need to start worshiping at 10:30. You should start worshiping at 9. He's not worried about the time you worship. He's just trying to keep you from worshiping. The way that the enemy will come attack you is often in this way. The first thing that we see in Nehemiah is that Sanballat and his boys, they begin to start by calling them names. He says, feeble Jews. You know, feeble. He said, you're weak. You are weak. You are a miserable person. You are miserable. And what you will discover is how personal that this attack is. You are weak. Are you going to do this by yourself? That means you need me. You need help. You don't have all the resources. You don't have what you need. You are weak. You don't have the resources. Are you going to be able to sacrifice? What's the challenge? The challenge is their faith and their worship. You're not going to be able to do it. Because all of this is happening. But what Sanballat is right. The Jews are weak. They've been beaten. They've been taken over. They don't have the mass that they used to. They are weak by themselves. But Lord, God says, when you are weak, I am strong. So what Sanballat they have forgotten is that the people of God are the people of God. Well, it doesn't matter what they look like. God is strong enough for them. And God will give them strength to do what's necessary. What he also forgot, while they didn't have the resources in themselves, but they worship a God who can turn the heart of the king, that will say you get whatever you ask for, the resources that you need, all of it is yours. All you got to do is ask, because I serve a God who can work within the heart of kings. You feeble, you are weak, you can't do it by yourself. Are you going to be able to worship? Here's a lesson that we will need to learn. The attack came with one voice. They were united against the people of God. They were together in agreement against the people of God. They came, not fighting among themselves, not who's going to say this, who's going to do what, who's going to attack here. They came as a collective group against the people of God. Listen, anger will often be the natural or first response towards the word of God to the world. The world always going to see whatever good that is being done within the people of God is to be anger. So that's their natural response. I am angry, or the Christians are not tolerant. Anger will often be the response of the world Because what we believe and what we stand for stands against their views, their values, and whenever you come against their values, they think you're coming directly against them. Progress is not welcomed by all. We'll get to talk about the people inside. But progress is not welcomed by all. If we're trying to get buy-in, if we're trying to please everybody, we're trying to move it, and you think that everybody is going to support it, progress is not welcomed by all. And so when you accept that, you also understand that God rewards faithfulness. What God rewards is faithfulness. If I will remain faithful, if I will do what he tells me consistently, if I live in the land in which God is directing my path, it doesn't matter what comes. It doesn't matter who comes and attack. In fact, this quote says, if an effort can be robbed of hope, then it will be defeated before it begun. If an effort can be robbed of hope, it is defeated before it even begins. Faith is believing in God, often despite of the outward appearance. Faith is believing in God, often in spite of everything else. To stay confident in, I see what's here, but I know what God is doing. I want what God is doing. And so with one voice, they gather together to come against the people of God. But watch Nehemiah's response. With one voice, Nehemiah responds to the people. Because what did he do? The first thing, and we see that Nehemiah began his, the book begins with Nehemiah engaged with God through prayer. Nehemiah is praying throughout this whole time, and when the attack came for the people of God, Nehemiah turned to God. Now, we were talking this past Wednesday about this prayer. And every time I read this prayer, I'm like, I can't pray this. Because it sounds like a harsh prayer. And to be honest, if you think about it, you'll think that Nehemiah is saying, God, kill him, destroy him. In a sense, yes. But why is he doing that? Nehemiah doesn't take the personal attack that the Sanballat in his school is bringing personally. He sees their attack as an attack on God. He's not saying, his prayer is not, God, deliver me. God, save me. God, rescue me. God, let us show them. He's not praying any of that, but he's praying saying, God, he's coming against you. He's coming against your work. So when he talks, don't listen. When he brings his sins before you, don't blot it out. Don't forgive him. He said, in fact, Lord, ignore that. In fact, harden their hearts even because they are resistant to the work and the message of God. How often do we pray? Do we pray to honor God in our trials versus praying for God to rescue us or to defend us? Whose honor are you trying to preserve, yours or God?
Jesus.
This is a reality, and we see how Nehemiah is there, and with the one voice they're responding because they hate God, and therefore, God, you deal with them. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. I will repay.
Hallelujah.
He can do it better than you can.
Hallelujah.
He knows the button. He knows the twist. He knows the twist. He knows how to do it. Our prayer lives, let me put it this way, we don't see God at work the way that we should because our prayer lives are not as good or as well as it should be.
Amen.
Prayer has become a grenade we throw out, hoping that we'll just explode and take care of everything. But yet prayer is one of the most important tools in the Christian arsenal that we as people of God are to be able to pull out first, should be the primary tool that we pull out. But oftentimes it is a last resort. It is a Hail Mary that we throw, hoping that somewhere God is up there waiting catch it and listen to what we do. Nehemiah is building, or has built, a culture of prayer. And he has done that, and he continues to do that. So Nehemiah, Jesus, however, changes the way we pray and faces obstacles, right? He said, bless those who curse you. Bless those who come against you. Let them take care of it. In fact, the book of Romans says, keep doing good. It's like pouring hot coal on their head. Why? Because the more that they come at me, the more I display love, the more I display grace, the more I extend the love of Christ. Mind the mission. After being psychologically attacked, after being called names, told that the work couldn't be done, they will not be able to do it, they will not be able to accomplish it, Nehemiah prayed. Verse 6 is cool. Verse 6 says, so we built the wall, and the whole wall was joined together to half its height. Now, depending on your translation, the latter part of this verse can sound a little bit different. And I like the NASB. I think that maybe the King James have it this way as well. It says, for the people had the mind to worship. Attack came. They didn't waste their time trying to defend themselves, trying to justify themselves, because their mind was focused on get back to work. I remember when I was younger, if I would get in trouble, my mom would really, we had two ways of dealing with discipline or any haughty behaviors. We beat you or we'll talk you to death, right? Those are two options. There were times when I would do something which would be rare because I was a great kid. My mom would decide that she would talk to me. We would be driving around and she would talk and talk and talk. And at times I just want to say, Mom, just beat me already and just be done with it. This is really the approach here with Nehemiah and the people. The people have come, attacked, and said, yes, you have attacked, but you get it over with so that we can get back to work. Because our focus is the mission. It's not your attack. It's not whether you like me. It's not whether you approve of me. But my focus is to do the work. Because after they had attacked, after we had prayed, let's get back to work and get the job done. They had a mind to work. Where's your mind? Where's your mind? Where are you focused on? What are your desires? What is it that drives you? What is your personal mission? What is your personal vision? What is it that God said, get on board, let's get this done? Last week we talked in chapter 3, we find each family and priest and different groups are mining their own section. What are you mining? What are you mining? Are you more concerned about being right or being a servant of God? Are you more concerned about getting your work done or tearing it down? What do you do? How do you deal with challenges when they come? How do you do when the obstacles come and they get in the way of what you want to do or what you believe God wants you to do? How do you deal with that? If the opposition, the enemy, could come together and be united, how much more should the Church of Jesus Christ realize their unity and stand together for the purpose and the kingdom of God? The enemy has no problem coming together against you. They'll solve their beef. They'll solve their problems. They're okay with coming at you. But how often we are instead alone. We don't need anybody. We'll do it by ourselves. And we don't support anybody. Let them fail. We like to watch them. We like to say, well it's never going to work. But we want to be right. We want to say, I told you it wasn't going to work. Versus, let's get together and succeed together and fail together and move together and learn together and grow together. What is your response? The mission of the enemy is to conspire together to stop the work, but you don't have to let him. The mission of the enemy. Again, I go back to this thought. Listen, they weren't just trying to destroy the wall. It's already been destroyed. They're like it being destroyed. They could go in, do whatever they want, whenever they want, take whatever they want, with no problem. They had absolute control. And even as the wall is being built, you don't find them trying to tear it down. But if I can stop them, stop the people, I don't have to worry about the wall. If I can stop the people, I don't have to worry about the wall. If I can stop the people, I don't have to worry about the wall. Too often we are so concerned about the wall. We are not concerned enough about the people. We want the wall to be done. And that's great. But the enemy knows that the resources is in the people. And if I can destroy their morals, if I can beat them up psychologically, I've won. So I want to give you a couple points as we close as to how we should respond. Number one, we will do like Nehemiah, as always. We will let prayer be our first response in the face of opposition. Let prayer be your first response in the face of opposition. I don't care what opposition you face. If you're like me, when I am faced with an opposition, bad or ugly, my natural tendency is to try to solve it. It's to try to fix it. To try to defend me. Preserve my integrity. Preserve my reputation. Preserve my honor. But Nehemiah had been trying to defend himself. The people gathered together. They prayed to God. Because God can do it better than I can. Ask God for help. Ask God for help and say, Lord, not only ask God to get you out of it, but help me understand. What is this? Maybe it's not a what, it's a why. God, why am I going through this? Maybe it's not a why, it's for what purpose. God, what is it that you want me to learn in this? Let prayer be your first response to any challenge. There's a man in the outskirts of South Africa in the safari. He was walking along, and behind him he hears a ruffle of the leaves, and he turns, and there's a lion behind him. Man is scared, and so starts running and run. And as he's running, he suddenly remembers, wow, I need to pray. Maybe I will pray to God and ask God for help. He prayed and he's running and said, Lord, help me. Lord, please turn the lion into a Christian. And for a moment, he doesn't hear anything. He turns around, he sees the lion on his knees praying. He gets a little closer because he sees his mouth moving. And as he gets closer, he hears the lion says, Lord, thank you for this meal that I'm about to receive. We have shotgun prayers that we pray and God responds and God hears us and God answers, but the way he answers doesn't work out the way we want it to work out. But our job is not to tell God how to respond, but our job is to ask. Secondly, remember who God is. Because too often we have more confidence in our problem than we do in our God. We see our problem as greater than we see our God. Or the second mistake that we do, we often see our ability to resolve the problem greater than what God can do. I don't know why we do that. God may be slower than I want him to. He may not do it right away. I know how to respond. I know how to do what I need to do, and so we forget who God is. If you remember when Nehemiah started praying in chapter 1, the way he prayed was, great and awesome. Throughout his whole mission, in the midst of obstacles, he hasn't forgotten this great and awesome God. And in fact, his faith is increased even more and more. So he's praying to this great and awesome God. Lastly, mind the mission. You get distracted long enough, you forget why you are running, why you live, why you're here, why anything, you forget. Think about some of you who've been here for 20, 30 plus years. In fact, think about this church before it even started. Think about why the Johnson would get together and say, let's get together and worship. Think about why we're here. The mission is why we're here. The mission that God has given to all of us, to the church at large, is to go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey all that I have commanded. That's our global mission. Our local mission here is stated this way, that we are a local expression of a God-centered community, a Christ-centered community, living out that great commission. So what do you do when the obstacles come? I want to close by telling you this story that some of you may be again familiar with. A farmer had a donkey, and as he's walking, the donkey fell into a hole. The donkey's kind of old, and so the farmer tried to get the donkey out as much as it can and couldn't do it. And so he realized, you know what? It's not worth the effort. And so he gathered his neighbors together and said, you know what? Let's just bury the donkey in the hole. Because the hole needs to be closed. Because I don't want any more donkeys or children to. So we just get together and start. But the animals down there, the donkeys down there, crying out and crying and crying and crying. And so as he's there crying, he begins to feel the dirt being piled. He cries even louder. And after a while, they stop hearing the donkey cry. The donkey realized something. There's a problem here. And the solution is coming also in the form of a problem. And so the donkey got smart. So they would throw their shovel of dirt on the donkey, and the donkey would let it fall and shake it off. They would throw, and the donkey would let it fall and shake it off. And as much as he's shaking off, the pile of dirt is getting under him, and he's stepping up. And they keep going, and he shakes it off, and he steps up and keeps going. They keep throwing it, he shakes it off, and he keeps coming. To the amazement of the people on the outside trying to bury the donkey, he starts climbing to the point he just walked across the threshold. And listen, the enemy attacks will come, but what you do with it determines how you live. How you will see the victory. Shake it off. They will come. Shake it off. They will come attack. Shake it off. Don't stay there. Don't just take it. Folks, remember who God is. Yes, yes. Remember who God is. Yes, yes. God is faithful. The same God who's faithful to begin the work is faithful to bring it to completion.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
What do you do? What do you do in the face of obstacles? Some of us, I know how we respond. We curl up and want to die. Because nobody likes me. They don't care about me. They don't want to see me succeed. And so what's the point? I'm not doing this anymore because what's the point? I can't be like this anymore because They don't like me. They don't appreciate me. I know, I understand appreciation. I appreciate all of you serving in whatever capacity. But the goal in serving is not for the joy and the pleasure of them. If they are not satisfied with you, that has nothing to do with your mission. That has nothing to do with your work. Serve the Lord. Worship Him. And when the obstacles come, shake it off and step over it. Don't be buried by it. Don't let it beat you. You don't have to let it win. Amen? Amen. I've been in church ministries for a long time, and I've gotten to understand people a bit. There are times where people involved in ministry, they are discouraged, they are frustrated, they are upset. And what do? Is quit. What we said before, what you are doing, what we do, we are robbing the mission and the work of God and His church. This is our work. This is our mission. And if we're not engaged in it, the enemy will win. Amen? Amen. Would you join me as we stand together? God, we thank you for this great example that you present before us to watch and see how not only Nehemiah, but the people in the face of opposition from the outside, from Sanballat, Tobiah, to Gershom, and Israel, Lord, as they come again and again and again to attack, and they attack us, they attack these people mentally, they attack them psychologically. And Lord, still they had a mind to work. They were so focused on accomplishing what you had said before them that they would not let anything or anyone deter them from that. Father, we pray that you would help us to recognize the distractions. In whatever shape or form that they come, Lord, that we would recognize them and that we would embrace you and not waste our time trying to defend us and trying to defend our reputation. Or would you create in us a constant reminder that you are accessible, you are available, so that all we got to do is talk to you. That you would help us to remember how great and mighty, how awesome you are, that there is nothing that can ever come that will overtake you, that will dethrone you. That, Lord, we will be a people who is focused on the vision and the mission that you've given to us. Oh, yes. That will not allow the Sanballat in this world, the Tobiah of this world, the Gershom of this world, the wealthy of this world, those who would come to disturb the work, who will not allow that to happen. Father, give us strength, give us wisdom, give us the know-how to lean and trust you in fixing our eyes on you, Lord. Father, as we leave from this place, we pray that your presence would be with us. That we would not leave the experience and leave your spirit here, but Lord, that you would get in the car with us, that you would go to our homes with us, that you will eat with us, that you will dwell with us, that your being would become our being. And Lord, as many of us are dealing with issues, loss, and pain of any sort, we pray that the God of all comfort would come and ease our pain. Oh, yes. That you would give us definition, that you would give us purpose, or remind us of our purpose in the It is in no other name that we pray, but the Lord Jesus Christ, our Lord, who came, lived, died, and resurrected on the third day, now sits at the right hand of the Father, interceding for us. It is in His name we pray. Amen. Amen. God bless you. Have a great, great, and wonderful week in the Lord. Amen.
Don't worry about it. We'll tell you. Church, you know. Don't worry about it.